Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Barrel's Garage. It's Sunday on a Monday. Oh, yeah, I had to pick the wife up from the airport yesterday, and I wasn't sure what time I was going to be back. So it fell right around the time my usual life. So I just went ahead and bounced it to a little bit earlier on Monday today. Yeah, so that's why we're here on Monday. Who all we got in the house here? Looks like Lakes Automotive Diagnostics. Great to see you, man. And our good buddy Ollie's Garage. And it sounds like he got a little bit of Idaho Gold. Great to see you, man. And that 56 actually doesn't look all that bad. I kind of like the looks of that. It's going to be hard to part it out, but the parts that are left, yeah, you can do something with that. And I've always had a soft spot for the 55, 56 Ford even over the Chevy. They just got I love the way the chrome on those ears comes down and it wraps up and over the top of the fender. Oh, that's just a killer look. Anyway, great to see you, Ollie. Then we got Triple M's in the house. What's going on? Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans. Great to see you. And my neighbor, Kevin's Rust. What's going on? Great to see you. And Philip the Third sliding right on in here. Oh, got a surprise coming, huh, Ollie? Wait till you see what I bought. The Mordor is destined for doom now. Oh, now that sounds real good. If any of you guys are wondering, go check out Ollie's Garage, his channel. He's got some great stuff. And he plays with those years of birds. And other stuff too. John, Show Car Builder. What's going on? Great to see you as well, man. So, I got some news today. Might be, it's still in the negotiation phase of the whole thing, but I might have some new content coming to the channel here real soon. I got a good friend who's, he's got a 66 Mustang Fastback, and he's been wanting to put a Coyote in it, and he's had both of those now. He's had the Coyote all ready to go. He bought all the wiring and everything brand new. He just hasn't got around to sticking it together yet. Well, kind of talking about, having me do all the work to put it all together for him. We're still in the negotiation part on it, but he took it around and asked some local shops here, and holy cow, they scared the heck out of him. Now, I get it. There is a whole bunch of work to put in a Coyote in one of those first-gen Mustangs, but the prices that he was quoted, they even scared me a whole bunch. I think I can do it for him for, I'm guessing, around half of what some of them other shops have quoted him on. But we're working it out. If it does happen, I'll be featuring that on the channel up and coming here. So the 58 might take a little back step to make a little more money for that 58. But that's what is kind of working in the mix of the channel right now. Whoa, that's a big project. Yeah. If any of you are wondering why they put an LS in everything, well, an LS is a whole lot more simple than those Coyotes. They make good power. They're a great modern engine. There's a whole lot more to a Coyote than there is an LS. And then trying to squeeze it all in. Yeah. On that Mustang, though, he's already done a Mustang 2 conversion to it, so he's already got the shock towers out of the way. That's a big plus. The last one I did like this was putting a Cleveland in a first gen. Yeah, you learn to really not like Ford shock towers. Those first gen Mustangs, truth be told, they were made and designed to run a straight six. They are tight in that engine bay. And then Ford decided, let's stuff the biggest engines we possibly can in there. I love Ford. I really, really do. uh, and I do too. I talk a little bit bad about Ford all the time, but everything I don't like about a Ford, I love about a Ford. Chevys make me lazy. Hey, JB, great to see you. I see you just put the rear end under the trash truck. I was watching you guys working that cheater bar on that ratchet. Yeah. Oh, Lord knows I've been there a bunch of times, especially in a junkyard doing that, and about 3 inches of muddy water brought back a bunch of memories. At least you weren't in the cold and nasty while you was doing it. Tony's Hot Rod Garage, great to see you. Well, what the heck is going on here? I know I confused myself. It's not Sunday. Getting out with no towers is the easy part. Sorting the wiring is another one. Exactly. And I don't have the abilities to do the computer software or any computer tuning to it. So after I'm done with it, I'll be taking it to another shop, a guy that does all of that kind of stuff for us. And then he'll take it from there. He actually dyno tunes them. So if it goes to that point, it'll all go over to him, and then he'll finish it off. I just do the install part. And Idaho is kind of well known for low wages, low cost, because our cost of living is actually extremely low here in my my favorite state. But he's been quoted upwards of 50 grand to do that swap. That I can get well under that, I'm pretty sure. Even with having the other shop do the keyboard stuff. Ford is like your kid brother. You love him, but you're going to pick on him. Exactly. Exactly right. Greetings and salutations. Good to see you, JD Vintage. Just got done shooting another Toyota video. Oh, way cool. Now I've got to run out and put a clutch brake on a Kenworth. Oh, Lord. Yeah, time to break out the big boy boots. And yeah, anything with Kenworth on the end of it means super heavy. Everything is heavy. The lug nuts on a Kenworth are heavy. Somewhere that they're stacked up in the back of the shop there, but I still got my chopsticks. They're for changing semi tires. it's just two metal rods you stuff under the tire, and you lift up on them rods and push with your shoulders, and that's how you put them heavy tires on a semi truck. Back breaking work. When the air impact weighs about 60 pounds, yeah, just the impact itself, yeah, your diesel mechanics, they earn their bacon. Tim Windsor, the best YouTube commenter out there. What's going on? Great to see you, man. And we got Sidewinder sliding right on in there. Great to see you, man. I caught a little bit of your live Sunday morning, but boy, oh boy, I was busy. I've been actually running a chainsaw almost nonstop for the past 2 weeks, cleaning up all of the deadfall that happened in that late spring storm. I got a little bit of video of it, but we got hit with 2 more storms like that, and it caused a lot more. And then to top it off, the canal company, after about 30 years of neglect, decided that they were going to come and pull all the trees off the canal bank that is actually my back property line. And they pulled all of them trees, and then they stacked them in my yard, in my property. So I've been out there cutting. I am beat. My arms are rubber from running the chainsaw for 2 weeks. And when they laid them trees down, it's like a giant game of pickup, sticks out there. They just kind of laid them however they fell. So yeah, it's a lot easier when you fall the trees yourself, because you can direct them all in the same direction. Makes limbing them and cutting them real easy. And to top that all off, I did pick up a wood burning stove for the shop. But the problem is I can only burn about 1 foot logs. So it's a lot of time of cutting when you got to cut a full tree up in about 1 foot blocks. But I'll take all of that and I'll stack it all and let it set and cure for about 2 years because it's all green wood. The fact is, some of it's trying to grow again. I got about 200 yards more on the canal bank. I got to go about another 15 trees to cut up. So I'm down to I can see the finish line in that nasty chainsaw work. Kenworth equals PETA. I agree. And the ones that I used to work on, oh Lord, it's always wiring problems. Well, I worked for a logging company, and loggers, yeah, they're for one, the trucks are in brutal areas, so things get tore up. And the guys that he has working for him just have one thing on their mind: get that truck in and get that truck out of the hills. So things get beat up even more. And wiring on a Kenworth, every wire is white. You got to look real close and find the code that's stamped into them. Oh, and like I said, they get tore off all the time, dragging them trucks through the hills. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Working on diesels is one thing. Working on diesels for a logging company is a total other story. LP94, Mr. Lars, great to see you. I seen you jumped right in there and taught those youngsters how to spin that ratchet on them U-bolts. I know what you guys are saying. You work them nice and slow. You get it to right where you start feeling it binding up, and then you back that sucker off. Otherwise, yeah, you twist off a U-bolt. You think in your mind, oh, well, it's just a bolt. I'm going to go in and get another one. Yeah, price a U-bolt. They're not your standard bolt, and they're kind of spendy. You can do everything you possibly can to save them U-bolts. Oh, yeah, the old tire irons. Yep. Makes my back ache just thinking about those things. Yep. I got to where I could do it pretty quick, but yeah, good Lord. I don't want to think about it. Those sons of guns is heavy. I'm to the point now where I only want to pick up a pen and sign the back of the checks. My dad used to tell me when I was working with him out there in the shop, he said, yeah, the secret to auto mechanics is stay in school, get a job that you can actually pay somebody else to do this kind of work. Because it is backbreaking. Freight shakers are all yellow. Yeah. He had one Freightliner. Most of Amelia Kai's stuff is Kenworth. But yeah, he does have a Freightliner, and he's got one Peterbilt too. The Peterbilt and the Kenworth were pretty much the same. Logging trucks scare me. Ever since that movie, what was it called? Final Destination. Yeah, you see a logging truck going down the road. It kind of, yeah, that movie kind of goes through your brain a couple of times. Dizzy Izzy slid right on in there. Good to see you, brother. Mofo driver. Good to see you, man. I say, oh crud! I get to talking again, and and the chat freezes up here, and I miss some of you here. Let's see. I was a truck and equipment mechanic before I started the own shop. Yeah, you know about that then. Best thing you can do as a heavy equipment and truck mechanic is go into automotive. You can pick up a brake rotor with one hand. Oh, it's so nice. That and just the whole mindset of it all. When you're working on big semis, you know that your brain kind of switches. You know you're dealing with a lot of weight. You know those trucks have got to be safe. So you're in a different mindset than when you're working basic automotive. Basic automotive is pretty simple. Disc brakes are going to stop no matter what. Big semi trucks, you know what's going to happen if it don't. So you're more focused, if that makes sense. While you're trying to do it like quick and get that thing back on the road, because the boss man's standing over you saying, I needed this truck done yesterday and it just broke down this morning. Yeah. Functional histories. Great to see you, man. I caught little glimpses of I'm like I said, I'm not going to let no kitty out of the bag. I'm going to keep that kitty right in the bag. But that little project that's kind of going in and around and over on you, good concept. And I like the whole concept on it. What do you call it? Stone Soup Valiant? I think it's about, no, it's not a Valiant. It's a Stone Soup, early Mopar, early 60s Mopar. If any of you haven't checked it out, you got to check out Functional Histories, and there's a whole lot of other channels that are involved with it. Justin Hill, my other neighbor just north of me. What's going on? Great to see you, man. Busy, busy, busy. Finally on the house stretch, or on the home stretch, with this Batfrink build. Oh, sweet. You're doing one for Clint. That is one cool build. Working on a Le Mans and a Little Red Express. A Corvair. Wow, cool. Sounds like you got a full plate there. Van Life Biker. Good to see you, man. Haven't seen you around for a little while. You've probably been like the rest of us, getting just springtime. When spring springs, it's time to get. And the weather here has been unreal. We literally have gone from, about the mid 50s. You'd be out, well, I've been out cutting wood, and it's about in the mid 50s, right around there. You're stripped down to just a t-shirt, cutting away, and then all of a sudden, boom, it'll drop down into the low 30s and start snowing. And then you wait until about 4 or 5 o'clock, and it will clear up and go back up into the 40s, and then boom, hit again. I love Idaho Springs for that. We get all 4 seasons in the length of a day. Yeah, actually, it's been pretty nice today. Got a chance to get a little bit of something done. We've got posts up. All kinds of shops have volunteered. It's a Lancer. That's what it is, a Lancer. Great build, great concept. Like I said, everybody check it out. Like he said, there's a whole bunch of shops, a whole bunch of channels that are chipping in. It's kind of a, like I said, like a stone soup kind of potluck kind of build. And it's just, it started way over on the West Coast, and it's just making its way slowly over to Functional Histories. Go check it out. It's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of that 72 Ranchero that I gave away at the first inaugural run of the No Name Nationals. It was a project car, total project car, no engine, no transmission. Was missing the front grill piece in it. But I ended up giving that car to Stephen Holtz's boys. If you want to see that build and everything, you got to go over to Stephen Holtz, Just Drive It. But he came all the way from Texas, all the way up here to Idaho, picked up the car, and I took him over to a junkyard. He found another 72 Ranchero, found all the parts off of it that he needed. And the old man quoted him a price that was just too good to pass up. So he pulled that whole parts car over. I still got his parts car sitting here. And he's coming up this kind of soonish to pick it up and take some others home. I'm storing a few of his cars here. But same kind of sort of concept as that. He come up here and he worked on that car for 2 weeks. It was great having him here too. Him and his boys, his wife, just great people. We had a heck of a good 2 weeks here with him. And while he was here, he got a chance to go through Yellowstone National Park, which is not very far from me, just a little north. Catch a few of the sights while he was here. Just loaded the truck up for tomorrow morning. Gone fishing. Oh, sweet. I drove over the bridge. It's only about 200 yards west of me over the Snake River. Boy, they've got that river running hard and heavy right now doing the spring flush. It's probably going to take about 2-3 weeks, maybe a month before the fishing gets good here. Whenever they do that, it muddies up the water. Yeah, the fishing gets good, but the catching kind of goes down. Hey, Brother Bear, did you hear about Calvin Nelson's Studebaker? I did. I just seen that this morning. Um, I was out busy and I was on my phone, so I couldn't do a share on it. But thanks for reminding me. I need to post that up in my community page. Calvin Nelson of Nivlak, great guy. Him and his dad are just freaking awesome. He was in, I forget what state it was in. Anyway, had his pickup, his trailer, and his Studebaker on there. He's got a little Studebaker Lark that is super fast. All of their stuff is really quick stuff. Had the whole thing stolen out of the motel parking lot or hotel parking lot. I hope they find him, and yeah, they find him, catch him, and then just take them out to an open parking lot and invite every one of Calvin's subscribers to come over and yeah, while they turn their backs, if you know what I mean. That is just, oh. Auto Salvage Outlaws. What's going on? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing better. Like I said, just keep that chin up high. Colleen Tebow slid right in there. How's it going? How's that half pint coming? Oh, you're up by Reno, huh? Out looking up close to Donner's Pass there. I have some really good friends. Uh, Bob and Elaine Frank. They run the monster truck Wheels of Freedom, and they live in Thule. That's just right there by you, by where you're at. He's actually the fire chief there too. But Bob and Elaine, two of the best people you ever meet in your whole entire life. If if you see them, tell them Thumper says hello. He'll know exactly what you're talking about. If you say Barrows, he'll kind of look at you funny because we all referred to each other by our truck names back in the monster truck days. Let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, it was a beautiful little lark too, and like I said, it was quick. I don't think those boys make anything slow, and they stole the whole works, the hauler, the enclosed trailer, the car, everything. All these tools in there. Oh, I hope to high heaven they nail them guys. Annabella, great to see you. Thanks for swinging on in. Stopping in to show some love and support. Hope all is well. Yeah, it's getting better. I'm not on a chainsaw. Let's see, where are we all? Don the man. What's going on? Great to see you. The only guy I know that can run a 5-barrel. And it works. For some reason, it works. Let's see. Get caught back up here. There we go. And like I said, it's like any other Sunday live, even though it's on a Monday. I got the link hot pinned up there in the chat. If you want to pop on in, pop on in. We'll talk about whatever. I just have to be able to see your face, make sure it's really you, because there's been some funky business with all of this stuff. People stealing people's identity and then popping on and doing all kinds of weird stuff on live. So I just need to see your face and then I'll pop you right in. And I should be editing the videos that are in those memory cards. Oh, I left them out in the shop. That last one that I did, I was really surprised. It got a lot of views on it. That was one of them ones I didn't think was much anything. I actually shot that video like 3-4 months ago, and I found it in there, and I just forgot to hit the public on it. So I sent it out. That video, like I said, is actually about 4 months old. I had no idea about it. I just, it was in the computer. I thought I had it all done up. That one on the difference between rosettes and plug welds. But I sure appreciate all you guys watching it. Oh, you guys really took me by surprise with that one. It's one of those videos that you don't think is yeah, very good, so you don't really put it out there. And like I said, I found it and I was like, oh, I haven't done a video in a little while. I better just put this out there, just show you guys I'm still alive. And holy cow, it took off. So never second guess yourself on a video, because yeah, that's a fast way to end your video stuff. Let's see, get caught back up here. Let's see. Max Wedge, Dick Dastardly. Good to see you, man. Legit information is always valued. And I double talk so much in that. Oh, I don't know. I'm my worst critic. That's my problem. Is I like I already talked about that. Why am I talking about it again? Why am I saying it again? It's just yeah. I guess it was okay. And again, thanks everybody for watching it. I think you're pretty good. Like I said, we're our own worst critics when it comes to this stuff. Oh well, it's all fun. And it was all stuff I was doing anyway, so might as well hit record on the camera, right? Barrows, care if I put up a link to the GFM we put up today? If one of my mods can find it, yeah, go ahead and post it up. I have it set though, so unless you're a mod, you can't post a link. I had to do that because a lot of the we used to call them sexy dancing girls, and people had to hop in and post all kinds of weird wacko links. So I eventually had to shut that off to kind of weed them spammers out. But if one of my mods wants to go ahead and post that up, yeah, go ahead. Went to have acupuncture this morning, huh? For the third time. I'm not sure if I'm a believer yet or not. I've never had that done. I I don't like things poking me. Oh Lord, you and me both. And again, because I am my worst critic. You changing stuff around. You know I fall into that trap. I end up second guessing myself too many times. And thank God for my dad out there, because he'll come by and he'll say, "It's gonna work. Just do it. Just do it. You're overthinking it." I don't know how many times my dad has told me that. You're overthinking it. Just do it. It'll be fine. uh, that's when it's good to have friends or second opinions or anything like that in the shop. Because if you get left to your own devices, yeah, if you're anything like me, you end up second guessing yourself, or or building it like a Ford. Oh, Fords are built Ford tough because they over engineer and strengthen everything. That's why I love them. Torque boxes on a Mopar, they're this big. Torque boxes on a first gen Mustang, they're this big. Why? Because Ford built it like a farmer. Oh, it did totally blow my mind when I put that little 65 Dart up on the lift and actually looked in depth on early Mopar. Yeah, those suckers are built light, because I'm so used to doing Fords. Fords have got a brace here and a brace here, and the bracket that comes down, it just holds the emergency brake cable out of the way. Yeah, it's nothing special. It doesn't need to be anything big. Uh, Ford, they make it so you can hang the whole fucking car up off of it. Oh wow, I think that's the first time I let my language slip. I love them all. Mopar, Ford, Chevy, GM. They're all good. Where one's good, one's bad, and where one's bad, one's good. It's just in how you look at them. They were trying to make them fast. Yep, and Mopar did. That is why they were so light. Everything on them is just, if it didn't need to be there, the Mopar didn't put it there. And that's what made them so daggum fast. I know. It finally happened after what? Oh, I've been on YouTube for about 4 years now. It finally happened. uh, it's over 30 minutes in. Who cares? And I don't monetize these lives anyway. It's Monday, it happens. Tried my transmission today. No forward gear at first. Was shifting cable. Thank God. Oh, all right. Almost pulled it all back out again. Oh Lord. That's That's why I do not like an automatic transmission. Those things go in and out so many times. Standards for the most part, that and the standard transmission is a whole lot easier to work around. Because, well, the ones that I work with anyway, they all separate from the bell housing. So yeah, if you need to do just the transmission, you just undo 4 bolts and pull the linkages off the side where they're supposed to be, and just slide that sucker right out of there. Automatics, you gotta get up there and undo all the bell housings because they don't separate. Most of them don't separate off of the transmission part. You gotta pull it all off, and it's all heavy. And I didn't have a lift until recently, so I was usually on my back with doing the floor jack and balancing on your knee tricks and everything else, and yeah, laying in gravel. Oh Lord, yeah, I know. Is a Ford F-bomb thing. Actually, oh, my stepmother, she hates it. But we built her a Ford, 55 Ford truck. You see it on my channel every once in a while. It's a satin black. It's actually an F500 that we converted to a half-ton pickup, and it's actually setting on a 77 Malibu, Chevy Malibu. But anyway, to start that all off, my dad got the truck, and it was an F500 boom truck. It's the construction company in little town in Manan, just north of me here. They used it for hanging trusses. So it had a great big boom on it. F500, or what is that, like a 2.5 ton, 3-ton truck? Anyway, my dad ended up with the truck. He traded that to the restoration shop up the street for something else. I forget what he traded it for. But then he traded it back along with a whole bunch of other stuff for our 39 Chevy Coupe. And while Rex had it, he named the truck the F-bomb. Well, in sailors and that, when you name a ship, it's bad luck to change the name. Once it's named that, it's bad luck. So we kept the name F-bomb. And then because we built that truck for my stepmother, my dad's wife now, we added her name to it, so it's Karen's F-bomb. I get so much crap for every time I put that out there. I do a little short or something of it. This is Karen's F-bomb. Well, that's the name of the truck. But she hates that. But that's the reason we called it the F-bomb, because it's bad luck to change the name once somebody else names it. That was a fun build. That was really a fun build. And that's the reason it's running 20-inch tire, 20-inch wheels on it, because the truck came with 20s on it. Granted, they were great big semi-truck tires, but it works. We had to use those to fill the wheel openings, because in 55, the cab, the nose, everything is the same. All they changed was the front fenders, and they just made the wheel openings bigger for the bigger tires. The bed on that truck was a guy up the road that raises chickens. He used that. It was just a trailer, pickup bed trailer. And they cut the frame, bring the frame in, put a hitch on it. It was just an old Ford from that series pickup bed. Actually, no, it's a year down. That's a 50, 53, 52 down bed, because it's got the 45s angles on it, not the flats, if I remember right. That's the only difference between the beds on them. And then from the flat bed tops. They run with that one all the way through the 80s. They just changed the fenders on the outside, on its step side. Anyway, a chicken farmer just up the street from us used to use that when he'd clean the chicken coops. He'd just pile that into that old pickup bed trailer and then haul it off. Oh, I'll tell you what, to this day, when you were welding in that chicken crap ate right into the metal. It's etched into that metal. And when you're welding on it, it releases that. Holy cow, that truck stinks when you gotta weld on it. Smells like burning chicken poop. No matter how much you prep the metal and clean it. Oh, yeah, when you're welding on it, you get that nice Tyson aroma. Mustangs needed lots of metal. It's all rusts away. Every first gen Mustang, even the ones out here, yep, they rusted out. Big time. And you can tell, even if it's all shiny and nice on a Mustang, first gen Mustang, a little bit on the Camaro too, but big time on the Mustang. If you go to look at one, pay real close attention how the door closes. If that door closes rough, there's a whole lot of work to be done with them. When they rust out, yeah, and they'll say, oh yeah, it's just a little hole I need filled on the floor. It's usually not just a little hole. The little hole you see is just the tip of the iceberg. And it's always the trunk and the bottom where the back passenger's feet go. Right there, they just rust out like no tomorrow. Even here in the High Plains Desert, where rust is kind of minimized, I think that's why every body shop, every paint shop has got a picture of a Mustang on their sign. If you can fix one of them, yep, you're a bona fide body man after that. Them words came out when talking about Fords and Dodges. Mopar around here, though, was always rare. It was really rare. I don't know how Ellsworth Dodge, that was our Dodge dealership, Mopar dealership here. I don't know how they stayed in business because finding vintage Mopar, a little tough up here. All righty, got to get back to it. You guys be safe and please check out the GFM, the GoFundMe for ASO. Yeah, I believe somebody posted it up there earlier. Just scroll back on the chat a little bit and you'll see it there. These half-ton trucks today pull more than 10,000 pounds. You wouldn't find me doing it. 10,000 pounds on a modern truck? Yeah, I wouldn't either. The best truck I ever found for towing is actually, I loved my '01. I guess it'd be the first generation 24 valve Cummins Dodge. The bodies aren't very good. I'll tell you that right now. The body on that truck, all the sheet metal, not so great. But the chassis and that Cummins, coupled to the, well, mine was a 6-speed. That'd be the NV 4600, or the 5-speed. The 5-speed was really good too. But a manual transmission, yeah, that was a rock solid truck for towing. It was no speed demon by any means, but it had enough torque to pull the world over if you wanted. Who invented the very first pickup truck? That is actually a big time debate. I've seen on Google many times that it was Ford, but I've also seen what was REO, Ransom. Oh, what was his name? Ransom Edwards Olds, became Oldsmobile later on. His truck did beat out Ford just barely, but nobody ever talks about the REO. And at that time, REOs were more big truck. They just did a smaller version, but because it also had bigger tires on it, they didn't classify it as a pickup, if I remember right. So there's debate back and forth on that. But I know Henry Ford started them because people were buying his Model T, the old Tin Lizzie, and popping the turtle deck off the back and building their own pickup beds on them. And that's what kind of gave them the idea that, okay, it'll be viable enough to go ahead and build these. And have you ever seen a 30s little Ford pickup? I know, because my dad had a 32 Ford pickup. The bed on them is tiny. You might get 2 hay bales in there. Dutch Guy's Garage, what's going on? Great to see you, man. But in those early years, those cars were tiny. Him and my mom would sit in the cab of that little pickup and almost be shoulder to shoulder. They're tight little, all of them, all cars, trucks, everything. They were tight. Found a couple of Vonnies Friday. Wow, very rough. Maybe enough to build one. Don't know if it's worth it. That's a car you just gotta love. I never did like the body style on the Avani, but boy, if you get them going, they're a quick car. Even in stock form, they were quick. But yeah, they got a face that only a mother can love. They're just weird looking. Those round headlights and the way the front nose dives down, yeah, they're a weird looking car. And if it's rough, well, it's a lot of flat metal. If you're talking cheap metal work, it's easy fabrication, but yeah. Reno, Nevada is the place to look for Rust Breed classics. If they're still there. That place got picked pretty heavy. Elko, if you can find them around there and you know the right places to look in Elko's a little better. I know 2 yards there. And if you're going through Elko, Nevada, you got to stop into Chef Ming's Chinese restaurant and get the hot and sour soup. It's the best hot and sour soup I've ever had, and I don't like hot and sour soup. And speaking of Mustangs, that's how I found those yards. We did a 70, it was a 70 Mach 1 for a guy that lived in Elko. And we delivered it back to him. So we took that car and it was bad, but stuck it on the rotisserie. Totally every nut and bolt on that car was restored back to original, almost original. It was an automatic car. He wanted a 4-speed, so it did have a 4-speed in it with that big old Cleveland. And we scoured all over for 70 Mach 1 parts because they're very unique for that year. One of them in particular that I remember is the fog light switch. It took us about a little over 6 months to find that. It's just a switch down on the console for the fog lights up front, but it's a one year only. That's the stuff you run into with restoration. The whole floor on that car was replaced. Typical Mustang stuff. Avantis are worth it. Yeah, like I said, they're a cool little car. They just got a weird look to them. And what was it, in 62? They were the world's fastest production car. They beat out everybody, Ferrari, everybody. That was the fastest car in the world, an Avanti. And they held it for 1 or 2 years. Jason's Garage, great to see you, man. Dixon fiberglass. Ooh. Oof. That's why I do not like vets or boats. My 97 Ram towed nice. Had it going 100 miles an hour with the car on the trailer a few times. That will wake you up. And the 97, that was still the 12 valve. The manual injector. Oh man, that is a beautiful engine. We flat punished our little 12 valve, and it's still going to this day. That was what was in our hauler for the monster truck. It was an old school bus, old Bluebird school bus. Event bus, though, is the school bus that they used to take the football team, the sports teams around. So it had a higher gear in it, not like a route bus. So it was actually made to roll the freeway at 75 mile an hour. But we had that thing so dang loaded that 65 was as fast as it would go. with that little 12 valve. It was behind an Allison automatic transmission. Boy, we punished that poor thing. But like I said, it is still going to this day. And the guy has had no problems with it. A lot to be said about them old Cummonses. But good heavens, hauling that monster truck around, that was 4,000 pounds just in tires. That's not including everything else. That's just the tires. And it was all set up. It was a living quarters, kind of like a little bit short motorhome set up in it. And the other half of it was like a big ramp truck. I'll find pictures of it sometime or another. The ramp part we built because we cut the bus in half. Bad mistake. If we had it all over to do it again, we never would have cut that bus because that's actually the structure on the bus. We had to go underneath and really, that's when I learned really how to fish plate because we had to beef that frame up like no tomorrow. But we built a ramp back, slant back on the back of it, and the monster truck with the load tires, which they were just 16-inch tires that we cut the centers out of and welded the big Rockwell big 10-bolt big wheels. Anyway, we'd pull the monster truck up on top of the bus, that back half of the bus, and then it had a trailer on the back of it that kept all of our tools, the mobile shop area, and then the 4 monster truck tires, the great big 66s, went on it. And we drove that thing like that all over the West Coast. Everything west of the Mississippi. We never crossed the Mississippi with it. Mostly because the closer you get to the Mississippi, yeah, the DOT gets a little bit weird. Out west here, you can get away with all kinds of stuff on the road. Cross the Mississippi, yeah, it gets a little bit sticky. Let's see, get caught back up here. Like I said, I get to yakking like that, and I totally miss it in the chat here. We should go to the monster trucks next month. I'm sure Dad'll be out there. After doing it for that many years, I just, yeah, I've seen enough of them. That was a chapter in my life I closed the book on. But my dad, he just loves it. He loves anything with a motor on it. And it looks like we got the Dougster slid right in here again. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Oh, yeah, that's right. But yeah, got me on that one. The only Gavani I've ever seen up close. Very good friend of ours. I went to school with his boy. oh, what the heck is his name? His last name is Jinks. Jinks. And he's actually the president of Studebaker International. He lives here in the town of Idaho Falls, Idaho, city just north of me. Anyway, he used to live in my little hometown here, about a half a block from the high school and the city park. And his Avani sat up on blocks out on his driveway because he was restoring it. And well, yeah, when you try to restore an Avani back to 100% original, they tend to sit for a little while while you're looking for parts. What the heck was his first name? Mr. Jinks is all I knew him by. %. What the heck? Great to see you.
Oh, it's been a hell of a couple weeks here. How are you doing?
Oh, about the same, man. I got rubber arms.
I had Dougster's Wolverine Garage and Alex from Hubert's Projects come by this weekend to hang out, which was pretty cool. So.
Oh, way cool.
Yeah.
Did you get video?
A little bit here and there. We just kind of hung out, shot the shit, and then went to eat at there's a drive-in diner by my house. So we went and hung out there for a while.
That's what's cool about this community. You get to actually meet people.
Yeah, they're about a 2.5, 3 hour drive northwest of me. So, yeah, and Dougster brought me a potato. So, there is that. So.
I've seen a thumbnail. I haven't watched a video of it yet.
Yeah, I was potatoed.
Somebody chucking spuds at you?
Well, I didn't throw them at me, thankfully, because I really can't duck. But, Yeah, fine, Max. So I finally got the Honda cut up, so I'll be definitely giving you a call here in the next couple of weeks when I start to figure out where I need to start getting and ordering materials for like the frame and stuff. Pick your brain about how you've done stuff. So,
like I said, anything I can do to help, man.
I appreciate it. It's going to be ridiculous. So,
what are you using for power plant in that?
I've got a 4.2 liter Jeep straight six.
Oh, okay.
And an AX15 5-speed, so that's what's going to win it. Basically, the car's about 8 feet long, the engine's about 6 feet long, with the trans on it. So it's going to be proportioned. It's kind of one of those. It's what I got, so that's what I'm using, kind of a setup. So,
just off the top of my head, I'd say especially with that, 2x3, 120 wall. Rectangular tubing.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was going to do like 1x4, 2x4, 2x3. I knew the wall thickness, but I wasn't sure what material yet.
You could do 88 wall, but it doesn't weld as good.
I'd rather have it be safe than,
I
plan on doing stupid things with it. So I'd like it to be reasonably safe because it's going to be as low as I can possibly make it. So.
Going with the straight axle up front?
Yeah, I need to find like a mid-30s to mid-40s Ford. That's the one thing I don't have, and I've been drawing a blank on connecting up here. So there's a couple swap meets I need to hit, but if not, I'm just going to have to find whoever's got the cheapest new stuff and try to buy it. So,
man, I wish it was closer. I'd send you one, but the cost of shipping would
yeah,
you could probably buy one from Speedway.
Yeah, I'd be better off getting a part-time job out there for a week, washing dishes, get the axle and come and drive back. Probably. No, Speedways, I mean, they're like $1,500 complete axle to axle brakes. And I mean, it's not, I don't want to do that, but if that's my only option, then it'd just take me a little longer to build it. So
I've got I've got 3 Fords out there. 1 Dodge, early Dodge before they V'd them. If you go with Dodge, be careful of the latter ones. They look like they're bent. Spindles.
I could just get a wild hair up my ass.
For them.
I could just get a wild hair up my ass and make it 4-wheel drive, but I've never built anything that low, so I'd like to try that out.
You can use the front diff, just don't hook it up. Use it for a straight axle.
Yeah, no, it's more one of those things. I would rather just know that I don't have to worry about the job. I want to drive it. Like if everything works out, it'll go to a couple shows next year and then No Name Nationals next year. So there's things that I want this to be as safe as humanly possible for something this stupid. So,
and it's an easy setup.
Back in one of these nice boots because I had a blowout in my foot. So I'll be off my feet for about 2 weeks. So,
oh Lord,
I've had 8 surgeries on my right foot, Bear Rose. So I'm still on the right side of the dirt. So
that's always the best thing.
Yes, I do prefer this side of the dirt as much as it has its random moments. I do prefer this side of the dirt. So are you coming this year to No Name?
Trying real hard for it.
Okay.
Can't say it until I'm actually in the car and headed down the road, but it's all looking that way.
Well, we're hopefully there's a bunch of people that sort of want to go, including Doug and some other people. So hopefully we'll have a nice caravan of idiots from Michigan headed that way. So
if that coyote swap comes through, then definitely.
What are you putting a coyote in?
66 Mustang Fastback, first gen Mustang coyote swap.
And you'll still have a hell of a lot of trouble because the engine is as wide as engine bay.
He's already done the Mustang 2 shock tower elimination on the front end, so that helped tremendously.
That'd be neat. I mean, as far as I've heard, they're a pretty neat motor, and of the modern Ford stuff, it's probably the most reliable.
They're neat, but they're complicated. It's not like an LS.
Anything with double
Ford has got a lot more to it.
Yeah, anything with double overhead cams and all that yada yada, it gets a little funny.
That's what he run into. He's done an LS before, and this is his first coyote. And well, this project is going on 6 years now, or it's 5 years now.
Well,
and he's finally thrown in the towel, and he's wanting somebody else to put it all together now.
That's gotta suck to get to there and just be like, okay, damn, just somebody do it. I want it done.
Yeah. And I think the wife's got something to say about it too.
Well, yeah, because they basically put the car through college at this point. So
it's actually a coupe too. So he's built the whole car. Okay. He bought a back half from a fastback. That's why I'm not sure of the year. I think it might actually be a 65 front, but the 66 fastback that he's married together. He's done all of that work. Everything is car-wise is ready to go. It's just put the engine transmission in it.
My buddy Jim from Jim's Fastback Garage, he fastback converted his 67, I think it is.
And that's the best way to do those. You do that stuff for other people, and then you use the money you make off that to buy a couple more carburetors.
So did you get into this whole solar eclipse craze that went on today, apparently?
Was that today?
Yeah, it got dark at like 3 for half a second. I was like, oh, I don't know, but I've seen them before. I guess maybe it doesn't mean anything to me, but I know people seem to be excited about it.
About, what was it? 9 years ago, we had the Epic right over our place. It was like the place to be.
Okay.
And my little road out here, it's actually called the Goshen Highway, but it's just a 2-lane road. Goes up to the little EB town of Goshen. and then it turns into dirt that goes up into the mountains, up in Wolverine Canyon. It sees no traffic. If I see 20 cars on the road, that's a busy day. When that happened, we had cars from all over the United States backed up all the way to the foothills, and that's over 20 miles. Bumper to bumper trying to get out of here. Oh, it was crazy.
That's nuts.
My dad lives a quarter mile from the house, and my wife jumped in the car to come home. We was going to come home and grab a few things. I got out and walked all the way to the house and then all the way back, and she was still waiting to get out. That's how bad that was.
Jeez.
But it was nice. We just sat out in the front yard, put the welding helmets on, and watched it.
I remember being excited for it when I was a kid. It happened when I was in like second grade. It happened in school. And it was, I guess, whatever we were down in Tampa was the right spot to just have it just totally dark. It was,
yeah.
It's definitely weird as hell when you're right in the middle of it. And it's so like, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and there's nothing. You can't see shit. So.
I watched it with DZ, Jack Stans, Anton P, and Mr. Thomas from Alexander's Nestling. Hope you saw it too. Yeah, but I do my best to keep everything carbureted.
Well,
super basic.
Super my first carbureted car in 20-something years, so.
It's just the electronics in it that, I like it simple.
I agree with you. Like the stuff that's coming out now it's when computers are controlling your taillights and that can affect if your car runs or not. That
exactly
it's too much. It's pointless at that time. You're basically turning a car into a cell phone.
Yeah, if you have a taillight go out, it's kind of bad, but not detrimental.
Yeah.
On a new one, yeah. It's not only is it bad, but it's expensive.
It's way too much. There's no reason for it to be that interconnected, and also that's like your cell phone goes out of, after 6 months, your cell phone's junk effectively because something new come out. They're only going to maintain the stuff in the cars and new stuff for so long, and then you're basically going to have a brick unless you have something.
Got to do is just throw the switch to make it not compatible anymore, and you're screwed.
That's the whole other thing. I don't know. Everything is disposable now. I guess other than that, like I love the new Jeeps, but I'm not going to pay $80,000 for a car.
Good God, no.
Even if I had, I wouldn't. So.
And 4 doors. Jeeps do not belong with 4 doors. If you need a 4-door, it's not a Jeep.
I get why they did it. I mean, I understand that it made them more. It made them money hand over fist. I prefer the 2-door now as well.
In fact, I don't even like the 7s. I prefer the 5s. It's got to have that character. The S door, I think they call it.
Yeah, the shape's sort of like you're bruising your butt bone every time you get in and out of the door.
Exactly. Yeah. And you do. That's part of owning a Jeep. It bites you in the ass every time you get in and out of it.
Like I've got a TJ, they're fine. They have ample headroom. You can be as tall as you want to drive them. But you have to know how to get in and out of them. Like my ex-wife would get in. I had a lifted one, and she'd get in it like she was getting on a horse when she was a kid. She's the only person I knew that could get in it without looking like they were handicapped. And she was 5'2". The car was, the roof was as tall as her head was, but she'd get in it. My big friends would almost fall out of the car trying to get in and out of it. So.
Yeah, because you got to step up to step down.
Yeah, you throw your leg over like you're getting on a horse. It's like, it's not that complicated. Just don't think about it. The more you think about it, the more you're going to hurt yourself.
And what was that automatic that they used? They only used it for a little while because it blew up Jeeps. If you held it, it wouldn't shift.
Oh,
It would lock it in gear.
You mean for the axle or for the transmission?
Transmission. It was the automatic transmissions that were in them.
Well, they used Chryslers for a long time, and then
You had to ease off to get it to shift. But if you were in full throttle and it had torque, it would not shift itself up.
I'll have to look that up. I've never heard that one before.
It's made for like off-roading and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, when you need that one gear, it would hold that gear for you.
Maybe it might have been the Quadra-Track, but that was technically more of the whole system, not just the
that was more like almost like an early version of all-wheel drive.
Yeah, because they went hubless in most of the 70s. So everything was running all the time, which just means more wear, less gas mileage, blah, blah, blah. I'll have to look that up. I'm not sure. Because they used Chrysler for
one.
Then they used GM when they did the 2.8s, and then they had the only decent modern transmission is the AW4, which I have in my Cherokee and the Chambler. That's actually nobody makes any performance parts for them, but they're actually a reliable automatic, and I've had automatics.
This was a Cherokee.
Yeah, I'll have to look.
It was a 2.8.
Then that would have been they ran TH350s and 700 R4s, and I think some of them were 200 R4s as well. But it was a weird kind of hodgepodge in that time frame.
Yeah. And my dad sold it to a friend of his, and took him out and showed him how to drive it. And well, he forgot. And heading down the Goshen Highway here, he blew it up, over revved it.
Yeah.
Left his foot in it trying to get it to shift, and it wouldn't shift. It just held it till she blew.
Cars are fun. They're at one time the best thing and the worst thing on the planet.
Well, they're all designed. Every car out there is only designed to go from A to B. The good ones get you back to A.
Well, and the really good ones get you there and back really, really fast. Or through things you shouldn't be driving through. One of the two.
You get right down to it. Actually, a Yugo is a good car. They were super cheap. If you only had a few bucks, you could buy a brand new Yugo.
My mom actually bought one new in '87 because it was the only car that we could afford.
Mm-hmm.
And she used to street race, but she could never get into reverse. So I'd have to, at like 10, I'd have to put it in reverse for her because you'd pop the hood and the spare tires bigger than the engine under the hood. And I didn't know at the time, but it's a freaking Fiat Panda that was like 20 years out of production and made out of like Cheese Whiz and bad ideas.
They actually worked on 2 of them.
They do have a so homely it's cute kind of thing going. They're so ugly you kind of like them.
And that smell in them. They smell like a Volvo inside. That's the closest thing I can think of.
I can say I do not remember what a Volvo and or a Yugo smells like at this point. So
kind of like a combination between shame and despair.
Dude, at least in a Volvo, you knew you were theoretically safe. In a Yugo, you're shit out of luck. So
the second worst car I ever owned was a Volvo. I used to say, yep, it's the safest car on the road because I can't get it to go fast enough to hurt a pedestrian.
Yeah, but they have the same kind of thing where they're so homely, they're cute. So
I'll never crush another pre-90s anything American made. Gold mining.
they'll do another Cash for Clunkers soon. Don't worry.
The worst car I ever owned was a Taurus, though. Oh, it was also the shortest car. Well, no, Toyota RAV4 was my shortest owned car. I only owned that for about 3 weeks, and I took it back. The Taurus I owned for 3 months.
That was the most popular car for like 10 years there. The Taurus.
I bought it for, I paid $1,000 for it. I put $2,500 worth of work into it, parts, and oh, good Lord. And then took it back and gave it back to the guy. I just wanted my money back from what, you know. He said, yeah, no problem. Had a new alternator on it, had a new radiator in it.
Yeah. You solved the problem. I sold it to you. You fixed it for him and gave it back. Yeah.
Well, and then a week later, I was living in Jackson Hole, Wyoming at the time. A week later, coming back from the city to Jackson Hole, he hit a moose. And that sucker went right through the windshield, peeled the roof of the car like a can opener.
Ugh.
That big old bull moose almost sat in the passenger seat with him.
Well, I think people don't realize how big. They're 1,200 pounds on the hook.
They're huge. Yeah.
My uncle took one when I was a kid out in Alaska, and it was a 66-inch rack. They had it in his living room, and it's like, I think the rack
picked up your whole
pounds.
Yeah.
Lots of meat. And I've had a moose version of every meat dish you could have. So.
Oh yeah. If you hunt one and get one, good Lord, you got enough meat there to last you 5 years.
I think they could only bring back 200 pounds of the meat. Like they left a lot of it with the guys and everything because they couldn't get it back.
Yeah.
Coming out of Alaska.
Oh, that was a Great Northern too. Yeah, those Alaskan moose get really big.
Yeah, it was a very large individual.
Ours down here, they're what do they call them? Rocky Mountain moose. They're still big. They're still really big, but they're not that big.
Yeah. So what prompted tonight's Sunday night live stream?
Oh, I had to pick up the wife yesterday at the airport, so I wasn't sure what time I would be back. So,
yeah, that's it.
And I didn't want to go on too late.
Yeah.
Because then Uncle Tony's on, and after that, Ari's on. I'll just bounce it today.
Yeah, the car YouTuber live stream community kind of gets. There's only so much time.
But if any of you guys want to try this live stuff, don't be afraid to just get out there and do it.
I started Wednesday because I thought I was, fairly safe because certain people weren't on and certain people stopped doing Wednesdays for a while. And now like Dallas and Professor P are doing it again. So it's like, I was trying not to butt in on anybody. And, the floor was clear and then apparently it's not again. So
this is originally the time that I originally planned to go on was Monday nights. But Doc Art, the week I decided, okay, I'm going to give this live stuff a try, he jumped in on Mondays and, well, I like going on Doc Art. So but your audience, even if you're on during somebody else's time, they go back and forth. So
it bounces around.
Yeah.
I have good days and bad days. I have a steady stream of people that are always there. And sometimes you never know who's going to pop on. Like Turbo Tom jumped in last week. That was cool. Dutch from Dutch Car Guys Garage jump in here. It's fun. You never know what's going to happen.
Coming down Mount Washington, we drove under a moose that was standing sideways on the road. We were in a Chevette. Yeah, I'll bet you went right under that big old thing too. That's a problem with them. Their legs are so long.
Yeah.
And that's what that one did. He clipped the legs right out from under it, and it just went vroom, right through the car. And then it stood up and walked away. Just looked back like, what the hell was that? And just kept walking.
Well, it's like you take a deer and a giraffe and you make something in between.
And he drove that car all the way back to Jackson Hole in the snow. When he got back, I had a floor cleaning business up there, me and another guy, and it was actually his little brother, my partner's little brother. When he got back up to Jackson, his eyes were almost bleeding. They were so bloodshot from the he had some glasses on. That's the only thing protecting his eyes from the snow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't want to even think.
It was, oh Lord. I told him though, I don't want the car back.
You could have made a full convertible.
Moose and elk are dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, they are tasty though.
I had a friend he lived in it's either Wisconsin, Minnesota. He lived in Minnesota, and he was following the lake, the road that follows the lake, he was saying, in a Volkswagen, a little Volkswagen Bug. And he come across a moose and out in the middle of the road, blocking the whole road. And he honked at that moose. That moose turned and took it as a challenge and rammed the front of that Volkswagen, spun it around in the road, and then he hit it again in the door and pushed that car off the road. And he almost landed in, what is that, Lake Superior?
I believe so. Yeah, that moose probably outweighed that Volkswagen by 300 pounds.
He said, after that, you see a moose, don't honk.
Yeah.
There's actually signs, too, that going through Yellowstone National Park says don't honk at them. It pisses them off good.
When you have basically no natural predators in where you live and you're, the size of a bus, nobody really messes with you too much. I'm actually going to have to jump off. I just wanted to come in and say, hey,
yeah, no problem. Actually, I'm probably going to shut her down here. I think Doc Art's going to be, if he's going now, and cousin Mike here, he's got the It's Monday live coming up too. So keeping it a little short this week. It's just kind of a quick little pop-up makeup.
It's fun. Like you said, you never know what's going to happen. It definitely always helps when people come on, though. So
yeah. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks a million for coming on in. 6%. Lord knows if nobody comes in, I'll just ramble on about all kinds of crazy, weird stuff.
Yeah.
You gave me a chance to talk about Jeeps.
Yeah, eventually you trail off because it's like, how many times have I said the same 6 things? So it's like,
exactly.
I appreciate you having me on.
No problem. You're more than welcome anytime, as with all of you. And with that, we'll just go ahead and wrap her up. And everybody, get out there and get some metal hot.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you all next week at the right time.
Bye, everybody.
See you, man.